The woman was terrified to see her son walking toward her with a man who looked exactly like a wanted fugitive. Before she could react, the man grabbed her son by the neck and whispered a threat.
He was kind enough to offer me a ride. This needs to happen.
As her eyes darted around, she noticed blood seeping from the man's ear. To protect her son, she chose to go along with whatever the man demanded. On the way home, she remembered the news report about a murderer who had escaped prison. Even when a police car drove by, she didn't dare say a word. But when they got home as the man had asked, Frank didn't attack them. Instead, he collapsed into a chair exhausted. There was a strange calmness and softness in his eyes. He explained to the mother and son that he wasn't a violent man and wouldn't hurt them. He said he only needed a place to stay until nightfall, to protect them from being charged with harboring a fugitive. Frank tied Kate loosely to a chair. His hands were gentle, as if afraid to hurt her, maybe to thank them for letting him stay. Frank went to the kitchen and cooked lunch for them. Since Kate was tied up, he carefully blew on each bite to cool it down, then fed it to her with a spoon. Looking at this gentle man, Kate found it hard to associate him with the label of murderer. When night fell, Frank untied Kate before he planned to leave, but the sound of a passing patrol car forced him to stay longer. The next morning, Frank got up early and made breakfast for them again. This time, Kate walked over holding the rope.
You won't be needing that any longer. But if the day comes when you have to say I tied you up, you won't be lying.
Frank's calm demeanor made Kate lower her guard a little. Her eyes softened without her realizing it. Wanting to repay the kindness they showed him, Frank started helping out around the house. He changed the car's fuses, chopped wood for winter, cleaned the house inside and out. He even taught Parker how to play ball. His tone was serious and fatherly, something Parker had always longed for. Kate saw all of this and her heart began to waver. Maybe this man wasn't as bad as she thought. When she carefully sewed up Frank's pants, Frank noticed the scar on her leg and asked about it. But before she could answer, there was a knock at the door. Frank instinctively pulled Kate down and shielded her.
I trust you're not gonna get nervous and say something.
When Parker opened the door, it was a neighbor delivering peaches. The neighbor warned that there was an escaped killer nearby, and told them to be extra careful. Parker came up with an excuse and sent her away. Frank knew in that moment he had earned Parker's trust. He praised him with a proud father's tone. Kate noticed it too. Something unspoken started to grow in her heart. To ease the tension after holding Kate down, Frank suggested making a peach pie with the fruit from the neighbor. As they baked together, every glance they exchanged, every small touch, made Kate's heart race. But she didn't pull away. In fact, she trembled slightly with excitement. Parker sensed his mother's emotions. He realized she might have feelings for this man too. Frank's hand slowly reached for her waist. Kate didn't resist. She gently leaned onto his shoulder, soaking in the quiet and the warmth. But Frank was supposed to leave that night. Kate came up with excuses to make him stay.
Maybe tomorrow, once your stitches have had a little more time.
Even Parker said that the dogs would sniff out his blood scent.
You should stay.
Facing such tender pleas, Frank didn't give an answer, but from that moment, he never mentioned leaving again. He fixed the loose stairs, repaired the squeaky door, and like a real father, taught Parker how to change a tire. In their free time, Kate put on a dress and danced with Frank. Time seemed to freeze in that perfect moment, watching the happiness on their